Dr. Karen Fox, New Feminine Paradigm. And this song is called Before the Storm. Now, I don't know if it's because we have instant communication and knowledge today, or if we're actually having more catastrophes happen in the world. But either way, I thought we should talk about emergency preparedness. We always think we're ready for anything, but we're not usually. And as we can see by the pictures on the news, things happen that we can't control, and we're left stranded. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we have the earthquakes, wind and ice storms, major floods, and in the past we've had volcano eruptions. I want to know, are you prepared to pack up and get out on the move within 10 minutes if you're advised to do so? Here's a few tips to get things ready. At our home, we like to do a house inspection a couple times a year, usually spring and fall. We simply walk around the house and outbuildings, make note of items that need attended to. If we notice leaky pipes, part of the roof that needs patched up. This summer, we cleared out tree branches that hung over the house in case that windstorm or ice storm came and knocked them down. It helps save the roof in the house. That way, all your big projects are noted, and you can get a start on them and hopefully have them repaired before the foul weather hits. Keep up on your car maintenance. Check your oils, your belts, your fluids. Get your brakes checked out. Rotate your tires or get new tires if needed. And always keep half a tank of gas in case you gotta move fast. Have a plan for your family. This is especially important if you have animals and younger children. Decide where you're going to meet up if you need to leave your home, especially at nighttime when it's the most frightening. Will you meet at the neighbor's house, at the end of the street, a corner store? How are you going to round up your animals and get them out? Do you have a cage nearby one of the doors? How are you going to get out in case of a fire? Do you have an escape plan? Do you practice it with your children? Do you practice it for yourself and your animals? Do you have a plan to safely get them out and ready to go? Keep an emergency bag with medicines for everyone who needs them, including your animals. Have an extra pair of glasses, even if you wear contacts. One may rip while you're out there, and you're going to need to be able to see. If you use canes or walking supports, make sure there's a backup in a quick spot. Now for us ladies, feminine protection, because one way or the other, it always seems to happen at the worst possible time. And those sanitary pads or tampons can come in handy if somebody has a gaping wound. Have water and snacks to tide you over, some extra clothes and shoes, and especially socks. If your feet are wet, everything's going to be more miserable. Select an out-of-town relative that all members can call to verify your safety. So many times the stress of not knowing family's all right is more taxing than the actual emergency. Have backup and extra copies of all the important papers you need, from the bank, house papers, insurance papers, credit card papers, birth certificates. If you need documentation, if you're a visitor from out of country, have all those copied and kept in a safe place. Maybe you have an extra briefcase that you can keep with your emergency supplies. I tend to keep a lot of numbers in an address calendar book that I carry around all the time. Also for us women, our purses. They're pretty much where we keep our whole life. From our phone numbers to insurance cards to doctor's numbers, poison control. It's where we have our money, our phones, our keys. Get into the habit of keeping it in the same place every time you set it down. That way it becomes so routine and so automatic to go to it when you're leaving the house that you don't even think about it when you have to go. And always put your keys near your purse, because if you're like me, you have a tendency to walk in, throw them down somewhere, and then you've forgotten where you put them. Create a bin or a container with 5 days' supply of food and extra water for every person and for your animals. Make sure you have extra blankets, extra clothes, your medicines, your feminine products, your glasses. First aid supplies are really important. Extra batteries and flashlights. Moist towelettes, because maybe the water's going to be turned off somewhere and you're going to need to wash up. Have paper towels, paper plates, cups, and utensils. If there's no water to be had, or if you're short on water, you're going to need disposables so you don't have to wash those dishes. Have manual can opener. In this day of technology, we tend to forget that sometimes the simplest of things are what's going to matter most. So get that manual can opener. Your radio. Maybe you have a solar radio. Maybe you have a wind-up radio. But make sure you have that. And some type of portable cooking unit. It could be your barbecue if you're lucky enough to shelter at home. Perhaps you want a little propane camping stove, or one of those little single unit burners with the propane tank. Keep that close by. And anything else you think you might need to survive with for 5 days without power. I always say that we need to keep our tent in with that too. If, say, something does collapse the house, we'll have some kind of an emergency shelter to be in and stay out of the weather. Keep your cell phones charged up. See if you can get a solar charger or some other kind of emergency charger for your phone. Keep your important phone numbers on speed dial. Keep insurance numbers on this if you're able to. List any allergies or medical information your family has. You can tape a copy of this to the lid of your supply bin. Keep it on your phone. If you're out of your house and you have children and they have medical issues, make a little tag that they can wear around their neck with all that information. And then if emergency personnel come across them, they'll know what to do and keep your child safe. Also, keep some travel games in there too. That way your mind is occupied and you're doing something together as a unit. That'll help with your sanity and keep everybody calm. I like to keep an emergency pack in my car as well as either in the garage or my pantry. That way if I'm stuck somewhere or road is washed out, whatever, I happen to own a van. So with blankets and extra food and my emergency gear in my car, that I can camp out in my car and be perfectly safe. Also, it's a great idea to make a smaller bin. And maybe stick it in a drawer of your desk at work or your cubby at work or whatever you happen to have your personal belongings in while you're at work. That way you're in charge when disaster hits. And when you're in charge, it's not so terrifying. And when you're in charge, then you can come out of yourself and help others who probably didn't prepare as well as you had. So here's a list of some things to keep on hand in your car, in your home, in your garage, wherever you store your extras. The battery-powered radio, your flashlights and batteries, have enough bottled water to get by, a good first aid kit, your canned foods, get that manual can opener, extra shoes, some gloves perhaps, tools that you may need. Maybe you'll need to turn off your utilities or fix a flat in your car or something. Things that we just don't think about in the norm. Have your personal medications and important notations for emergency workers to help you out. If you have babies, make sure you have extra diapers and formula for them. So often we forget these simple things for our babies. For your car, have some of the same things. Make sure you have a reflective vest in there. Make sure your spare tire is in good working condition. You don't want to be caught with a flat and not be able to get where you need to go. Now, some of the things we check around our house, like I said, the leaky faucets. We check all the smoke alarms. We check our fireplace, make sure the flues are working, that the chimney is clean. We check our barbecue and other stoves that use propane to make sure that they're at least half full, preferably full, because you're not going to have power. Do what you need to do to stay safe. It's important that you are prepared, that you are in charge of your own safety, of your own life. And I'm so proud of you for considering what you need to do in an emergency, for preparing for your emergency, and being able to take care of yourself and perhaps others at this stressful time. Please check us out on Spreaker, on YouTube. Go over to Facebook, New Feminine Paradigm. We have our beach blast coming up in October. You can sign up there and find out all the information. And I'll see you next time. This is Dr. Karen Fox, New Feminine Paradigm.